today's video, we're going to be going into the plugin GroupManager. We're going to be doing an overlay video and what you should do to keep track of what permissions go to what rank of user. This is going to be a series of videos. I'm hoping not to keep them too long, but currently, let's go into our GroupManager plugin folder, and you're going to want to open up config YML in Notepad++. Alright, with config open up right now, we're going to scroll down and we're going to look at the mirrors. What this does is set up folders and permissions for the worlds of your server. Currently, how it's configured, we have just world, world nether, world end, and all unnamed worlds. Right now, how this is set up, that all these other worlds will just piggyback off of the world folder, and I will show you that next. Alright, back to your folder of GroupManager, you want to click Worlds, then click World. You'll see two files, Groups and Users. These are the files that it looks up to see which users have which permissions. This keeps track of all the users and what ranks they are, and this is the permissions they give those designated ranks. Right now, we're going to back up twice and go into Global Groups YML. Right click on that and open with Notepad++. In Global Groups, you could actually make groups of permissions. So instead of having to put manually in the groups themselves each permission that you want to give them, you can have them all in this file under a name. As you can see here, it says g:"groupmanager_default:" permissions that are given, groupmanager.notify.self. And then the moderators have their own permissions, admins have their own permissions, and that's just for the GroupManager plugin. And then it would separate out into the bucket what permissions given, like default bucket broadcast.user. Then it has tabbed out here, pretty much saying, no, you don't want them to use this bucket command plugin. If you see a tab right next to what the command is, essentially seeing two tabs, you're pretty much telling them you don't want them to have access to that. And scrolling down, it's separated by bucket. These are bucket plugins. Here are the essential plugins. And I think it just stops at essential. Oh, and here are default Townie Builder plugins. This is new to me. I ended up having to put these in myself, but apparently now it puts in the plugins for Townie even if you do not have the plugin for Townie, which makes it really nice and easy, but you also need to know what permissions to give them and not to give them so they can use Townie correctly. But if you're not going to use Townie, there's no worry about that. You could actually just leave that alone. Vanish, I usually just delete. I never use Vanish. So I will not be going into Vanish unless, someone requests me, hey, could you do a video on Vanish? Then I'll look it up and do a video. Right now, I have an Excel spreadsheet that I made to categorize all the permissions that are grouped together. That's in the global group file. This makes it easier to see who has what right away. I will have a link in the description to download it if you guys want. Right now this is made with Excel, but you can open it up with Excel equivalent programs. There's one for Linux, which I will post what it's called in the description, and there's also OpenOffice if you can't afford Excel on your computer. And I will also post that in the description. You can open it up and just see, okay, this is what they currently have. And moving them around in here, this is just a list. This isn't going to change the global group YML file at all. This is just a list of where they're all at right now. If you change something in here, then you can go back to here and change it there. So you can always see without having to scroll down and say, I just want to see what my admins have. In this, you can scroll over to admins and see, okay, they have this permission, they have this permission, they have this permission, they have this permission, so on and so forth. The ones that are red are ones that they don't have. They're in bucket admin portion of the global group, as you can see right here, but they're tabbed out, as you can see right here. Pretty much saying that they won't have access to make people or make themselves ops, give ops, or take ops, which you do not want them to have. Alright, that will do it for this video. The next video on Group Manager will be going into the groups YML on how to edit it and adding in ranks. And it will also be backtracking to the global groups YML. So you can make sure the permissions are in the group permissions as well. I hope you enjoyed the video. Give me a thumbs up if you liked it. Subscribe if you haven't. Have a nice day. Bye.